Okay. Every situation properly perceived. Now, when Jesus says properly perceived, he's talking about right perception, meaning perceiving in a way in which you can find reality. Yes? Every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity to heal the Son of God. Every situation has the possibility of healing the Son of God. Now, tell me, is that exciting or not? Or are you guilty for not using every moment for the healing of God's Son? Now, where do you want to focus? On the excitement of that? Or on the disappointment of your failure in your past, which is gone and you can't do anything about it? Or do you want to get excited and inspired so that this moment and every moment that might follow could fulfill this? What?
Yes.
Oh, excited ones. What?
Yes.
And he is healed because you offered faith to him. Now, we know the way again. In every situation, the Son of God is healed because you have faith in him. That's the greater joining, isn't it? Isn't that the same? Is there a healing in the greater joining? In every situation is the greater joining possible? And all that's required is your faith, your willingness. And he is healed because you offered faith to him, giving him to the Holy Spirit and releasing him from every demand your ego would make of him. How many of ego's ideas? All of them, he says. Every demand, all demands your ego would make of him are released through your faith. See, I don't know how. I used to say things to you guys like, I really love this. Do you know what I mean by love this? And you kind of look at me and go, oh God, he's doing that thing again, where he wants us to know how important this teaching is, and like we don't know, So, But I try to convey to you that there's something happens at some point where your faith just becomes full excitement that what you've been reading and what you've been hearing is actually true, and that God fully loves you, and that the fact of the matter is you haven't done anything. Wow. All your guilt is useless. You can't take your guilt to heaven with you. It's useless. And only reality has value. You can't take your guilt into reality. But if you want to know the truth of that, which is really exciting, you're going to have to let go of your doubts and begin to focus more on your faith so you can get to the trust. Remember, trust is what happens after you apply faith, and what happens indicates the validity of applying faith. Then you experience the trust. Right? Like you have faith there's a God, and then, God takes care of you, and you go, oh, I can trust God now. I applied faith, and God helped me with all this stuff, and, it wasn't an accident, so God really loves me. Holy Spirit really is there. Gave me guidance. Jesus really cares. He showed me and told me where I could find my underwear. According to Helen. Do you know that that's what Jesus used to get Helen to trust him? He told her what store to find the underwear that she couldn't find, which was the only underwear that she liked to buy. And she'd gone to all these stores and couldn't find it. Jesus told her where to go. After that, she had a greater faith. She trusted him. So what does Jesus have to do with you to get you to have more faith and trust? I'm sure you've got something, up your sleeve that, Jesus has to do before he, Some people call it a miracle, right? He's got to do a miracle or, right, Charles? Right? I mean, hasn't everybody done that? Yeah, for me, it was like when I was a kid, I always said, well, if she's not pregnant, I promise I'll just don't let her be pregnant. I'm too young to be a father, and just blah, 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 blah. I swear I'll trust you and I'll do whatever you say. And you probably had some degree of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, come on, you're not innocent. We've all done this thing, if you'll do something, then I'll know, and then, from there on in, I will be a faithful, faithful. And I don't care how many years ago or how many hours or minutes ago you did that. The question is do you really want to be sincere? Because if you're not total, then you get no attainment for what you really want. So somewhere we have to come to terms with our willingness to be less than honest, less than totally devoted. He doesn't use the word devotion here, but he does use the word dedicated. But he could have talked about devotion here. What's the difference? There isn't any difference.